Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to look at the old PSE Stinger, and you're going to ask, how old is this bow? And that's an excellent question which I don't have the answer to. So I've been selling PSE, I'm going to guess, for around 10 years, and this bow I think was before that period because I can't really remember it. I mean, I can remember it, but it's a long time ago, so over 10 years at least. So the older Stingers came out with the solid limbs, which this bow has, but what makes this bow a bit unique is the machined riser. So it's machine riser, which basically the later Stingers are all cast risers, so they're poured into a mold. This is machined out of a riser, out of a block of aluminium. So metal limb pockets here, the new ones are plastic. Single cam, which is what you still see on the modern Stingers, but this cam's a little bit different. So it has a stop, like the new ones, and you can adjust the let off from 65 to 80% by moving it there to there. The draw length is adjustable down there. You can see from A to D, so you only got I think each letter is ½ an inch, so you only got like 2 inches, I think, a draw length adjustment. And this one's a custom bow down here. So this is a 50-pound maximum. This has custom strings on it, so the guy had some custom strings and it is for sale. Now what's a bit unique with this bow? What's a bit unique? There's a few things a bit unique with it. So you see here the idler wheel is asymmetrical, so one side's different to the other. Now the reason PSE did this was you don't need to serve the cables here, and that increased the speed of the bow by about 3 to 4 feet per second. Now the person who made these strings actually served the string here, so that you wouldn't be picking up that as a speed gain. Cable slide is still sliding backwards and forwards. Now in the later versions they obviously fitted a string stop in here, which goes in and hits the string there, which just makes the bow a bit quieter. Multiple sight positions here, you can move the sight up or down. Just the one arrow rest lock on position. Now you'll see a mark here, that's where your arrow goes, and a mark on the shelf here where your arrow goes, to make everything in line. So the later versions of the Stinger, you're talking cast riser, you're talking split limbs, and you're talking compression limbs. So you see these limbs are almost dead straight, so the new ones are cranked down more to create more pressure. So the new Stingers have got more adjustability, more tension. So you can see this bow here, this is pretty much, I think, fully wound up, maybe. And it certainly doesn't feel like 50 pounds, so maybe it can go in further, but it's pretty flat. You've got more adjustment here in the pound setting on the later bows. So the later ones, you can see how far you can adjust it because it's got a little bolt in the riser here, so you can see how far you can adjust it. These bows, the older ones, I'm going to guess about 10 pounds, 15 pounds of adjustment. The grip. Now you'll notice on the latest PSEs, the NXTs, you've got a rubber grip. In the old Stingers, you used to detach the grip. So it's the same. Now this one, he's obviously shooting without a grip. And while the edges are rounded off here, they're still quite sharp. So we're going to shoot with and without a grip on this bow. And this person's lost the bolts that go on here to hold this grip in. So I get a lot of questions on the phone about secondhand bows. Should I buy this secondhand bow? Can I get limbs for this secondhand bow? Now, I run a shop and I would probably get 2 or 3 of those phone calls a day. So people looking up eBay and various websites for secondhand bows, asking, is this bow good value and can I get parts? And like so many, like the number of phone calls I get for customers who aren't customers, and when I say they're not customers, they haven't brought anything off me, but they're just ringing me up for a question, it's almost half my phone calls. And my phone rings continuous, like it doesn't stop. So we're gonna have a shot, see what's different. So first off, the balance of the bow, the balance is pretty good. So over 15 years, this bow, back in this day, this bow was still a budget bow. It probably would have been, the new Stinger, because the Australian dollar's taking a hit, is probably around $550. Back in the day when they were selling this, the Australian dollar against the US dollar was much higher. So I'm going to say it was probably about the same sort of price as it is today. So I'm going to say the quality of the bow is better in the older version than the new one, but the new one's got the new technology. It's more adjustable in the poundage, it's got the compression limbs, putting more tension on the springs and cables. It's got so more adjustment, cast riser as opposed to machine riser. So the new Stinger should shoot better than this and feel better than this to shoot. So let's have a shot. So first off, the draw cycle is very soft, starting to build up, starting to build up, starting to build up, starting to build up, and then the valley. So there's really, when you get back to the valley, there's really not a lot of valley. And this is set on 65%. And so the valley is like very short. And you get to that stop at the end and it's 65% when you get to the end. But it's a lot softer draw than the current Stinger. The current Stinger starts off harder, and then you get that valley, and it's got a bigger valley because this is obviously 65% at the end. Now this was a target bow, which is why I shot it at 65. So let's have a shot. Now, when I shoot this bow, it feels like a rubber band to shoot. It's not saying it's bad to shoot. You can feel a bit of vibration in the hand when you shoot it because the limbs are not parallel, so it bounces forward a little bit. In fact, I did a video on an old PSE a while ago. This bow feels very much like it to shoot. It's soft. It's not crisp like the current Stinger. Now those two, I'm standing at 18 meters, those two arrows hit one another. So you can still shoot well with an old bow, but it's not the same level of energy. It's not the same level of performance that you get with a current level compound. So when you ask, like, what's this bow worth? Can I get parts for it? No, you probably can't get parts for this bow. Under the rockers here, it's got under the limb pockets, it's just got a half moon thing, which these limbs sit on. And when you're putting these bows back together, sometimes that pivot will move. So you've just got to be careful with that when you're rebuilding this bow, if you're rebuilding this bow. Now I get a little bit of, just then I got a little bit of touch on the wrist because these strings are so soft, they're sort of getting a bit of follow through. So it wasn't hurt. You can see there's no mark there, but I could feel it just coming in there. So now I shot a Elite, was the last review I did, and I think I had the bow set on around 25 pounds. This bow feels slower at 50 pounds. Now it aims really nice, like it sits there and aims. And why is that? It's got a big brace height here. Now I've got 3 arrows touching one another and one off to the side a little bit. We're going to shoot without a grip. Now shooting without a grip should reduce the torque because this is wider than this. And also it's going to increase the brace height. So it's going to lengthen my draw length a little bit, but it should make me a little bit steadier. Now, to aim this bow, it's completely steady as it is when I'm aiming. It's not moving at all. Now, with the rubber grip off this bow, this thing here is cutting into my thumb here, so it felt uncomfortable for me, and I can feel more vibration with the shot with the rubber off the grip. So if I wanted to shoot without a grip, I'd probably have to wrap tennis grip around it. but I definitely prefer it with the grip than without the grip. Now those arrows are in the same spot. I'm sorry I don't have a camera down there to show you the shots. My camera only seems to likes to work in hot weather, so it's obviously solder. Just one more. Now that one I am down a little bit. So I actually think it went in the middle. So let's go down there and have a look where these arrows are in the target, and let's wrap this. Okay, so I'm up here at the target. You can see these arrows here, I can get my fingers around. One is off to the side, which was I think my second, third arrow, which was just a bad shot. This is the last one, which is in the middle because I aimed a little bit low on it. But the others are all gripped really tight. So what does that tell me? It tells me that you can shoot good scores with an old bow. Now the bow does not feel as good to shoot as a modern compound bow. It's not the same. But you can still have good accuracy with the bow. I didn't have a peep sight on the bow. I just had a basic blade rest, which this bow came with. So this is going to get to the point. Now I had basic 5-pin sight on here, basic blade rest. I think these blade rests sell for about $40. And that's all I had. So no peep sight, just a basic D loop. So that's going to get back to the question, what's this bow worth? So the new Stinger sells for $550. It has a lifetime warranty. So when you're buying a bow secondhand, I think it should be half price. So if you're picking up a Stinger secondhand, you want to be picking up at around $300 or under $300, around the half price. So if you have a problem, you can afford to buy the parts. And even at half price, I'm going to question whether it's worth buying, because the strings themselves, if the strings have got wear, then you've got the cost of a new set of strings, which is about $135 plus fitting, about $200. So you don't want to buy an old Sting which the strings are worn out, because that's the cost of the bow. Now this bow, there's a huge market for beginner level compound bows where people don't want to spend $550. They want to get into the sport and check it out, right? So there's a whole, at the price point of under $250, people are happy to buy a bow and see if they're interested in the sport, because it's not going to cost them a lot of money, and that's where this bow fits in the market. It will fit in the market at under $250. It's a light poundage bow, so it's suitable for kids, ladies, guys starting out wanting to build up strength, someone who wants a target bow or looks a little bit prettier. That's where this bow will come in. It has a $40 rest. So anywhere probably from $200 is where you want to pick this bow up for, and you're going to be able to get good results and shoot well with it. And it always gets back to shoot. The more you shoot, the better you're going to shoot, and work on your form and practice lots. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. That's the old PSE Stinger. And yeah, so when you're looking at secondhand stuff, just bear in mind you may not be able to get parts for it. So if it does break, you may end up throwing the thing in the bin, or it may not be worth fixing, because the parts are going to be worth more than the bow is worth when you fix it up. So I hope that's been useful for you, and thanks for watching. Bye.